Tag TV and Tag Radio be seen and heard by both technology users and technology producers throughout the state of Georgia and around the world. Low cost, big benefits, powerhouse online branded video and audio has arrived. Tag TV, Tag Radio, there's a lot more to know. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. Forget it. Don't even try. You won't be able to keep track of all of his honors and awards. Just in the last 10 years alone, he was named 100 Most Influential Georgians, 100 Most Influential Atlantans, one of the 75 most powerful blacks in corporate America, one of the top 50 blacks in technology, the Carnegie Mellon Alumni Distinguished Service Award, one of 50 most powerful black executives in America, the Black Engineer of the Year Award, the Distinguished Alumnus Award, University of Chicago Graduate School of Business, the Bronze Medal in Financial World CEO of the Year competition. And that was just in the last decade. What about his service to higher education? University of Wisconsin Board of Regents, the former chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Carnegie Mellon University, of which, by the way, he's a life member, a member of the Southern Regional Education Board, the Board of Trustees of the University of Chicago. What about the private sector? A former energy top executive, former VP of Finance, a CEO and president of Wisconsin Power and Light. Then in 1998, he was named president and CEO of Alliant Energy Corporation. Later, he became chairman of the board of an energy holding company with $8.3 billion in total assets. Since 2006, he has been responsible for the state's 35 public colleges and universities, approximately 300,000 plus students, 40,000 plus faculty and staff, and an annual budget of approximately $6.3 billion. He also has the administrative responsibility for the state's 58 public library system. Greetings, everyone. It's Tuesday, April 19th, 2011, and this is a very special edition of Tech Talk with Technology Association of Georgia President Tino Mantella. Up to the Tech Talk, Tino speaks with Erroll B. Davis, Jr., Chancellor of the University System of Georgia. A rare, candid conversation with a man who has taken the state's university system to national and international acclaim. Tino speaks with the Chancellor as he ends a 5-year term, retiring later this year. Tech Talk, higher education with a proven leader, visionary, and a powerful political and academic influencer. Tino speaks with our very own Chancellor, University System of Georgia, Erroll B. Davis, Jr.
Chancellor Davis, thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we'll jump right in. I know we have limited time here, and I just wanted to, I guess the best place to start out is asking you to reflect on your illustrious tenure in office and talk a little bit about the few accomplishments that you're most proud of. And let's focus at first on business development in Georgia.
Well, in the area of business development, we are part of a very large statewide team, and so we work with local chambers, state chambers, the governor's office of economic development, and others. And so I certainly don't think the university system should claim credit for any particular economic development, but certainly some have taken place that we can be quite proud of over the last few years, whether it's a Kia plant or whether it's NCR deciding to relocate here and any number of other smaller firms.
Well, I know you certainly have a major role to play in that, and a company like NCR bolsters the technology community here. In fact, as you probably know, we're one of the leaders in payment processing, financial technologies, and NCR and First Data have both added to that. So it's great to have them here, and it helps Georgia to bring good jobs into the community, which you and I both appreciate, I know.
Absolutely.
Well, let's now just ask you, I think, from a standpoint of your personal pride that you've taken in the position in terms of what's any moment or one moment that you've been most proud while you've served as Chancellor? And certainly you can give us more than one. You had a long career there.
Well, this is a hectic job, and a lot of things went on. But when I look back and ask what do I hope endures, it is the leadership training programs that have been put in place system-wide. One of the challenges I found coming in is while there were certainly great leaders in place, that we didn't have the leadership in depth that I was used to in the private sector, and I have tried to formalize the process of creating those leaders, and that has been a program that's been well received at every level.
Now, your term is over when? When is your term over?
Well, I originally signed up for 5 years, and those 5 years were completed in February of this year. I had a 5-year contract, and I indicated that I would stay until the end of this semester, to the end of the school year, until a new chancellor is found, and hopefully one will be found in that time frame over the next 2 months.
Yeah, so that's a good segue to my next question, which is I imagine there's a group that's intensively looking for the new chancellor at this point in time. Is that right? They're probably in the midst of it, I would guess.
Absolutely. There was a probably 20-person plus search committee led by a member of the Board of Regents and assisted by an outside consultant, and they sent out a lot of paperwork, reviewed a lot of candidates on paper, had a number come in, and they winnowed that down to, I believe, 5 or 3, and then those will be interviewing with the Board of Regents.
Well, let's fast forward and imagine that there is someone in the position and you have a chance to sit down with him or her face-to-face. What advice would you give them going into this job that's obviously very challenging and I'm sure rewarding as well?
Well, other than questioning their sanity for actually wanting this type of job, I would certainly advise them to hold on, that it is more complex and faster moving than any of us could imagine. But in order to make the transition easier, we have prepared quite an extensive document on what the challenges are facing the system, what the risks that have to be actively managed are, and things of that nature. So I'm hopeful the next chancellor's transition will be quite a bit easier than mine.
Well, you've gotten to know the system very well. How do we stack up against all the other, say, states in the nation? Where would you rank us now? Not that anyone from Georgia is biased at all, but
no, not at all. We, of course, believe, and the data do suggest that we have one of the better systems in this country. There are few, if any, states that have 2 public universities ranked in the top 20, for example, and we do. And as you might expect, a state like California does, but I think there's only about 5 or 6 states that can make that claim. And a lot of our other institutions are certainly on the rise. Education is an explosive growth industry in Georgia.
Are there more students applying to the universities now? And I guess the question I'd ask is from inside the state, outside the state. I mean, how do we stack up in terms of just pure applicants to our schools?
Well, we are pretty overwhelmed with students. We have 311,000 students. We have institutions, of course, that are highly selective when you go to a Georgia or a Georgia Tech or Georgia College in Milledgeville and Georgia State. These institutions are getting more and more difficult to get in.
Well, we have time for one more question, and I would like to just go back to the challenges in the system. If you were to point out one thing at this point in time, the biggest challenge for the system as we you start to move into this and out of the recession, actually, what would you say that would be?
Well, I would say the challenge really is for the state and not for the system, and that is to determine what type of public education system are we going to have? Are we going to have one similar to North Carolina, which is robustly funded by the state and it keeps student costs to a minimum? Or are we going to have one that has declining state support, such as South Carolina, where the students have to make up more and more of the difference? We have choices to make. The recession has forced us into that. I am hopeful in the finest Georgia tradition, however, that we will again become a robustly funded public education system.
Well, Chancellor Davis, congratulations on your great work in the office, and we appreciate what you've done, speaking on behalf of our 13,000 members here at CAG, and thank you for joining me on Tech Talk today.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest. You take care.